Welcome, everyone. This is Joe Dager, the host of the Business 901 podcast. With me today is John Warrillow. John is the founder of the Value Builder System, author of Built to Sell, and his latest book, The Automatic Customer. Prior to starting the Value Builder System, he had started and successfully exited 4 companies. So, John, I'm very happy to have you here, and can you maybe fill in the blanks, that introduction, that elevator speech, maybe?
Oh, I think you did a great job. Yeah, no, we work with entrepreneurs and help them improve their value. Typical range is companies with between 1 and 20 million in annual sales is the guys who we work with. And as you know, a lot of those companies struggle for recurring revenue.
Because you mentioned there's 9 of them, okay?
Yeah.
That means I always have to be producing value. That's a lot of work, isn't it? It's not easier.
Well, I mean, the alternative is you have to produce value and you have to win the new customer every day, right? So think of Mosquito Squad, to give you an example. You've got them buying, customers who buy on subscription. The alternative in the extermination space is you buy search engine optimization and search engine marketing services, so that when you've got a cockroach in your basement, or when your prospect has a cockroach in their basement, they Google cockroaches in the basement, your ad appears first. And if you're unlucky, it appears 9th. And if you don't spend enough on search engine marketing, it appears 25th. And it's a very expensive way to win customers. Whereas at Mosquito Squad, they get their customers automatically because they know they sell on contract, and they know that contract is good for 12 treatments or a year's worth of service. So they've got a year's worth of service out of one sale. So yeah, it's a lot of work to continue to deliver value, but I'd argue it's half the work of running a regular business, in which you have to not only create the value, but also you have to sell it again and again and again.
Well, I think some people are still maybe leery of subscription. I think it's getting less and less, but some of your more traditional businesses, let's say. Is there a way that you can really assist people and make them feel comfortable with the subscription, that model? Is there something that sticks out maybe that if I'm competing against that traditional store up front, okay, or the traditional service where someone comes in and I offer a subscription service, is there a big difference, or is it just like it's cheaper?
Oh no, it shouldn't necessarily. I mean, cheaper is one value proposition, but there are 9 models, and none of the other ones that I can think of off the top of my head rely on being cheaper. So you don't have to be cheaper to be a subscription model. In the membership club model, for example, it has nothing to do with price. It has everything to do with the exclusivity of what you're offering. So I mean, we've seen this in golf clubs, we've seen this in tennis clubs. The more exclusive the membership, the more people will opt in. So it's not about being cheaper. You're right, I think, Joe. There is what I would call a subscription fatigue that is setting in because so many of us, now our credit card statement, instead of being able to read it on one page, I mean, the last one I got, I think it was 7 pages long, right? Like $9.99 for Netflix and $14.99 for this service and $12.99 for that service. And pretty soon the $12.99 start to add up, right? And so, when your credit card statement starts to go multiple pages, people start to become, as you say, leery. And so I think the bar to opting into a subscription is rising with all, as more and more companies, start to launch subscription services. AMC Theater has launched a subscription service where it can be all you can eat movies. Starbucks has a subscription service where they will ship you your coffee. Netflix, we are basically disaggregating all the cable companies because Netflix is how we now get our most of our television content, or Amazon. And so, more of us, these mainstream companies have now really adopted subscriptions as their sort of go-to platform, and so our sniff test is more intense, right? So you need to overcome that. And I talk about this thing called the 10x rule, which basically means that you have to figure out a way to make it 10 times more valuable for a customer to subscribe than buy from you on a transactional basis. I think that's when you start to see a real flood in interest. I mean, you could make the argument at Netflix, for example, whatever they're up to. I think they're up to $10 a month now, or some what seems to me like very small amount of money relative to the value you get. And so that would be a 10x for me. compared to $100 or $150 cable bill, you could argue that Netflix is 10 times more valuable. And so I think that's what you want to strive for. If you're just slightly better than buying on a transaction basis, people will default to transactional. You've got to be a lot more interesting, a lot more compelling. That doesn't necessarily have to be cheaper, but it does have to be more value.
Well, I think one of the things that most of us could relate to, and it may not be even a subscription service per se because it's so infrequent, but Amazon Prime is probably the best loyalty program in the world, is it not?
Well, I mean, Amazon, I'm glad you brought up Amazon. They're all in on this thing, right? So they've got Amazon Prime, which is indeed a subscription service. It's an annual subscription, right? They've got Amazon Mom, which is where they sell diapers on subscription. They've got Amazon Subscribe and Save, which they will put virtually anything in their store on subscription. So if you run out of toilet paper, paper towel, and dishwasher detergent, guess what? They'll send it to you on subscription. Amazon Fresh is their grocery delivery business, which is, again, a subscription. So, I mean, if you want to talk about a company that is all in on subscriptions, it's Amazon.
No, I forgot even to mention, or there was Amazon Kindle Unlimited, right? I mean,
right, of course, yeah.
How could I forget that?
Looks like you don't need it, Joe, because you've got a lot of hardcover books behind you.
And it took me a while because I enjoyed a hardcover book. 80% of the books I read now are probably digital and Kindle, and mostly because of Kindle Unlimited. Okay, as for one reason, but that diminished the Prime value. They took a little bit away from that, right?
Well, I think you could argue that for sure. I think in Prime's case, they're looking to get you to buy things other than books, right? So get you to buy your dishwasher detergent, your sneakers, your all your other stuff, which is one of the great benefits of Prime. If at Amazon they've done analysis to look at the consumption of non-Prime subscribers and compared it to Prime subscribers, and it turns out that Prime subscribers are 3 times more valuable. They spend 3 times more at Amazon than a non-Prime subscriber. Now, part of that is they get free shipping, but part of it is that they're looking to get their money's worth, right? Like once you subscribe, once you pay your whatever it is, $100 a year to become a member, you damn well want to get your money's worth. And so it makes you sort of more curious about what else beyond books that Amazon sells, and that's one of the plays.
You hit a good point there, is because Amazon with Amazon Prime and their annual subscription, they priced it, but the real value is that I always check there
right
for a price of a product, okay, because of Amazon Prime.
Exactly.
And if I don't need it absolutely the next 3-4 hours, I'd much rather than just click and be done.
Well, that's right. And we call it the Trojan horse effect. But really, one of the little kind of dirty secrets of the subscription business is that once somebody subscribes, it makes them infinitely more likely to buy your other stuff. So, I'll give you an example of this. Jim Vagonis is a guy in Washington, D.C., runs a company called Hassle-Free Homes, where on a subscription basis, he'll manage your home for you. So, change out the filters for the furnace, fill up the swimming pool with water in the spring, get rid of the water in the fall, et cetera. And what he's found was that while the subscription service is valuable, about half of his revenue comes from the subscription, the other half comes from the subscribers who ask him to do other stuff around the house, like install a deck or replace the roof, which falls outside of the subscription. But he's no longer competing with other people on jobs. He's not bidding for the deck job or not bidding because they're used to him. They trust him. They have their credit card on file. He's like, yeah, I can do the deck for you, no problem. And so Amazon knows it, the big global behemoth, but so does Jim Vagonis, the small business in Washington, D.C. So I think, there's a lot of companies that have realized that there's this kind of Trojan horse effect.
Okay. All right. Oh, is there anything I didn't ask that maybe you would like to add?
No, I mean, I think you've done a great job. I mean, we've covered a lot. I think if people want to get the 9 subscription models, or they want to go through and complete the Value Builder questionnaire, you can do it for free. Just go to valuebuilder.com and you can opt in there, and we'll get you the questionnaire to complete in the 9 subscription models.
Okay, and is that the best place to contact you and learn more?
Yeah,
okay.
valuebuilder.com.
Okay. All right. Well, I would like to thank you very much, John. I appreciate it. The Automatic Customer was a good book. I enjoyed it very much. I would recommend it for people, especially people with a SaaS outlook, okay, that are looking to build their own subscription model. And before they go into it, I think it's got some great background in it. So thanks again, John. This podcast will be available on Business 901 iTunes Store and the Business 901 blog site. So thanks to all the listeners.